Hello everyone and welcome to Farm Bureau's Voices of Agriculture. This week coming to you from the state of Mississippi. On the show this time we visit with a chef who locally sources his food that he serves in his restaurants.
Local veggies, local berries, local cow. We do really rustic, old school food.
We have a story about a cattle farmer who has an interesting talent that he shares with his cattle.
I fell for a dirt road girl, muddied up my world. It's a shame the way she loved me, but now she's left me alone.
We take a look at the Mississippi Ag and Forestry Museum and see how it showcases Mississippi's largest industry.
We opened our doors in 1983, and the purpose of the museum then was to be a teaching tool.
Plus, we'll have our Mississippi on the Menu segment with Nancy Freeman. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Are great places to find Mississippi-raised vegetables.
Every year, more and more consumers are taking advantage of the bounty of products grown by farm families of Mississippi.
It's important to me that I feed my family affordable, wholesome produce. We're blessed that in the U.S., we pay only a fraction of our income for much better quality food than other countries. I know I'm feeding my family healthy meals and saving money.
The farm families of Mississippi, feeding Mississippi and the world.
Farm to Table is a popular movement stirring in the Mississippi culinary world as many area restaurants team with farmers and other food producers to deliver fresh, locally grown food to their patrons. As consumer demand for more local food grows, restaurant operators must develop menu items and systems for meeting that consumer expectation. And because of that, many chefs have made the commitment to go out to the farms themselves and develop relationships with the farmers that produce that food. The Neon Pig is an old-school butcher shop and food bar located in a strip mall in Tupelo, Mississippi. They strive to bring old-fashioned goodness back into the food industry by specializing in house-cured meats and locally grown vegetables.
With the heirlooms you planted, you feel like you're going to have some good crops? We think we'll be able to put it on that tomato salad back on the menu?
Yeah, we have our best. We've got 7,000 tomato plants staked right now and tied, flowering, and we've got another 4,000 or 5,000 that'll go out soon, and they all look very good. So we're excited about tomato season.
Mitchell McCamey is one of the chefs and co-owner of the Neon Pig. Mitchell has made inroads with several local farmers to keep his restaurant supplied with fresh ingredients. One of those is Will Reed, owner of Native Sun Farm in Tupelo.
We operate the largest certified naturally grown vegetable farm in the state and also the largest community supported agriculture or CSA program in the state. So with our CSA program, we've got these different boxes. We've got these half bushel boxes which go down to Jackson and Meridian each week. Families pay in advance and they get a box of produce. So the folks in Jackson are getting cabbage, kale, squash, zucchini, beets, garlic, and leeks this week. And then we also have 3/4 bushel boxes which go to Starkville and Tupelo weekly.
Now is that dino kale?
This is dinosaur kale, so this is an awesome, there's been kind of a resurgence in the popularity of kale over the last couple years. Kale is really high in lots of vitamins, folic acid, really good for pregnant women especially, and people like to juice it. And so that's a great thing about working with restaurants like Kermit's Outlaw Kitchen and Neon Pig, is that they highlight some of these vegetables and they're willing to kind of push the envelope. And so another vegetable kind of like kale is bok choy. We grow a whole lot of bok choy, and it's something that's kind of familiar to typical Mississippi eaters. And so guys like Mitch and Seth are willing to modify their menu. Maybe lettuce isn't in season, but bok choy is. They'll put bok choy on the dishes that they're serving, and people become familiar with it, and then they come to the farm and want to buy some.
Marion Faye Maloney runs Memory Orchard, a 50-acre vegetable, fruit, and herb farm near Tupelo. Mitchell says Marion Faye is an encyclopedia of farming knowledge.
Mary Faye, should I get another bucket?
Yeah, get another bucket. I bet we can pick you enough tart berries that you can do something with.
Yes. What is that again?
Scented geranium. I don't know how much of that you need to eat. It's mostly for flavoring. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
I think Mitch has gleaned some of my experience, either as a business person or The fact that I've been digging in the dirt for a long, long time, and I have Mississippi roots that go back to the early 1800s, so we know about how the original foraging happened, whether they were eating wildlife or whether they were eating roots. And I enjoy knowing my heritage and turning and using that in something new and progressive and sharing it with people, because if we build on where we've been, and I think that's what Mitch says, he's learned a lot and he's built on it, and he's been able to take relationships of people who have deep roots in our area and come up with a product that's really special, and that's kind of where I am.
Not only does Mitchell locally source his produce, he also gets his protein sources locally.
This is the bone-in ribeye, tomahawk or whatever off the cow we just broke down last night. Seth and I left here last night at 12:30 breaking this stuff down, so it's a beautiful thing. We'll just clean a little bit of this up, simple. Just a little bit of this blade meat. We'll just take a little piece of this, simple. We do this all the time. My restaurant's got zero waste. You show me a restaurant that doesn't have any waste and no complaints, I'll show you one that's gonna be successful. That's as local as it gets right there, man. Local veggies, local berries, local cow. We do really, really, really rustic, old school food. Rough chop on some local vegetables that we just got from Native Son, Circuit W Farms, cattle. We broke down a whole cow last night. Homemade bread. We'll take this stuff. We'll put a little bit in some local cabbage. Put a little bit in some homemade bread. We shall take a couple of berries. A little bit more cheese. House-made pickles. House-made pickled onions. And that's it. It's that simple. Nothing else. Nobody's food but ours. Local as you can get. Real food. Homemade bun, y'all eat that, roll it up, snack on it. I'll set it right here. You guys come over and chow down.
The whole farm-to-table philosophy lets restaurants provide customers the freshest food possible while supporting the local food economy.
It's exciting. The community embraces it. They want more of it. They want to know where their food comes from. They want to come in here and know that they're eating meat and local vegetables.
There are nearly 1 million head of cattle on almost 18,000 cattle farms across Mississippi. That works out to be 1 cow for every 3 people in the state. Every one of these cattle farmers on all of these farms has a story, but you might not find one more interesting than this one. Cow Creek, Mississippi in Kemper County is the home to Britt Gully. Britt has a small herd of mixed breed cattle that he and his family have had all his life.
Mom and Daddy had them, and can't get shed of them. Got to keep a few. And got them here on the place, and just a cow-calf operation. Raise a few calves every year and sell them, and enjoy having them here. I'm going to try to get them black white-faced calves sell the best, and that's what we try to get. And this year I got several red calves out here. Last year everything I had was black white-faced, but that's the luck of the draw when you got mixed breed stuff. A couple of them, that old brindle cow, the stock we had here when I was young, is saving heifers off of them.
Being the only one to take care of the herd is sometimes an issue for Britt, but he gets a little help sometimes.
When my little boy's here, he helps me with it, but they're all so calm and easy to get along with. The biggest challenge, I guess, when y'all pulled up a while ago, about 20 of them out in the yard. But you see, there wasn't any trouble to get back in. You take a sack of feed and take them about anywhere.
Among Britt's many other talents is his ability to play the guitar and write songs.
I fell for a dirt road girl, muddied up my world. It's a shame the way she loved me, but now she's left me alone. I've seen her John Deere tattoo, now she says we're through. And I'm stuck here with these dirt road blues.
Now, being a songwriting, guitar-playing cowboy might not be the most unusual thing in the world, but he's also the #1 tribute singer for Jimmie Rodgers, the father of country music.
He said, brother, what ails you? Has sickness got you this way? Well, his brother never said, for his brother was dead, been dead since we last met. Odele, hi-ole.
Jimmie Rodgers was born in Meridian, Mississippi in 1897 and was playing guitar and singing by the age of 13. He was singing on traveling shows until his father told him to get a real job and put him to work on the railroad as a brakeman. Thus the nickname, the Singing Brakeman.
He was from Meridian, just born right here. Took over the world from right here. Folks were buying Jimmie Rodgers. That was the only entertainment they had. You know, in the Depression, you might make $1 a day. Well, the record was $1. So they were spending a day's wages on the record, entertaining themselves. There's no way to overstate how big a deal Jimmie Rodgers was. You know, he was the first superstar. It wasn't just country music. They didn't have the labels figured out back then. You know, it was blues and pop. He considered himself a popular star.
One of Jimmie's most famous songs is Waitin' for a Train.
All around the water tanks, waiting for a train, 1,000 miles away from home, sleeping in the rain.
Nobody seems to want me or lend me a helping hand. I'm 1,000 miles away from home, just waiting for a train.
Britt also has the honor of being allowed to occasionally play Jimmie Rodgers' original 1927 Martin guitar, valued at between $1 and $3 million.
Jimmie had this made in 1927. He had hit with a few things, and he wanted something suitable for a star of his caliber. So everything they could do to it, every idea he had. He had C.F. Martin's best flat tops in the world, and has been since they started and still are now. And just all kind of embellishment, his name written down the neck and all this inlay, and Brazilian rosewood and mahogany, and it's a good old piece. It's amazing that it does as well as it does. You know, it's 80-something years old. I'm going to California where they sleep out every night. I'm a-leaving you, mama. You know you don't treat me right.
You know, Jimmie Rodgers referred to his friends as his pals. And I think Britt Gully is really Jimmie Rodgers' best pal these days. And he has done so much to help us enhance the promotion of the museum, of the festival, of Jimmie Rodgers and his significant legacy. And we're proud of Britt. We're proud of what he's able to do for us. And we love the Jimmie Rodgers music. And Britt looks so much like Jimmie, and he sounds so much like Jimmie. Sometimes we wonder, you know, if it really is Jimmie coming along.
The Jimmie Rodgers Festival is held each year in Meridian, and to commemorate the 60th anniversary of the festival, Britt recorded this CD using Jimmie's Martin guitar. All the proceeds go to the upkeep of the Jimmie Rodgers Museum located in Meridian.
The festival is a way for us to highlight Jimmie Rodgers, his history, his significant impact on the development of American music, as well as to provide good, affordable entertainment for Meridianites and Mississippians, and for our visitors who come from all over the world to pay tribute to Jimmie Rodgers.
Whether you're a fan of country music, the blues, or rock and roll, Jimmie Rodgers was the genesis of all of these. And this guitar-playing, singing cowboy, Britt Gully, is keeping his memory alive for all of us today.
Mississippi and you.
We'll be right back after these messages.
The safety of our food is something we take for granted, and there are inspections that guarantee the food we put on our dinner tables is safe. Always read country of origin labels to ensure that fish, seafood, or produce is grown in the U.S., preferably Mississippi.
The health of your family is important. Be an informed consumer. Be sure you purchase safe, nutritious food products.
The farm families of Mississippi, growing safe, nutritious food.
The Mississippi Ag and Forestry Museum opened in 1983. It was the dream of longtime Commissioner of Agriculture Jim Buck Ross, who wanted to tell the story of how agriculture plays a role in everybody's lives and how it's the backbone of Mississippi's economy. The groundbreaking took place on 40 acres of prime real estate donated by the City of Jackson at the corner of I-55 and Lakeland Drive. A foundation was formed and raised $1.5 million, and the state legislature appropriated another $1.5 million to get things started.
We opened our doors in 1983, and the purpose of the museum then was to be a teaching tool to people. We've got a gallery here in the Heritage Center, which is the main building on campus, that people relate to because it's in all the pictures of our advertising. The gallery contains artifacts that take you from the Native Americans through the era of river transportation and then into the road era and mechanization and the rail era. And so you can see the progression of the tools and the implements and how production was able to increase through those innovations that were made. Outside, we've got our small town exhibit, which is a replica of a 1920s crossroads Mississippi town. And it contains everything that would have been in a town, from a general store, which does operate, a church that is rented out for weddings. We've also got an operating blacksmith shop and a print shop. A lot of those buildings were relocated from somewhere in Mississippi, which makes them eligible for Mississippi landmark status, and historic preservation and preservation of those is very important because those buildings are artifacts as well.
Near Small Town is the Fortenberry Parkman Farmstead. This was an actual working farm from 1860 to 1960. This exhibit gives visitors a look at what life was like on the farm in the late 1800s. There's also a working cotton gin.
The cotton gin is very special. It is the oldest working cotton gin in the United States. And we crank it up at least once a year during Harvest Festival. I think people are really amazed to see that that gin takes up a whole building, and they can see the cotton as it comes off the plant, go through the suck pipe, and they can see the engine run, and then they can see the gin stands as the saw blades are taking the lint off of the seed, and we can show them the seed that comes out, and then the press and how that worked, and roll the bale out, and we weighed it.
And don't miss the animal barnyard.
We have chickens and goats and rabbits and ponies. We've also got a beef cow. His name is Rudy, that lives just outside the barnyard now. He's outgrown his stall, so he's in a pasture. But kids have the opportunity to see livestock, and it's actual livestock that would have been on a farm or would be on a farm today.
The museum has been operating for over 3 decades, and Director Foy says it's now time for an upgrade.
We spent the whole year, 2013, going through a master planning process. We went through this with the help of Mississippi Archives and History. They brought in a consultant that looked at our business model, our visitorship, where we're drawing people from. They looked at all of our exhibits and told us what the average viewing time was of each exhibit, and through that we learned that people really are just moving through here too fast. We need to develop some things to engage people, to get them to stop and listen and learn something about the exhibits.
Some exhibits are already doing that, like letting kids milk Cloverbell the cow.
We talk about where milk comes from and all the products that you get when you milk the cow. You have this bucket of stuff that comes out. What all do you get from that? It's not made by the guy at Kroger in the back. And we also have an exhibit that is sponsored by the Farm Families in Mississippi that has games that kids can learn, where they can learn about different commodities that are grown in Mississippi. The vision for this museum is to become an example to the rest of the country of what a living history museum should be, and to be one of the most important teaching tools in the state of Mississippi.
The Mississippi Ag and Forestry Museum is open Tuesday through Saturday from 9 to 5. We'll be right back after this timeout. Stay with us.
Being a farmer means a long day and an even longer list of jobs to be done.
When people ask me why I'm a farmer, the answer is easy. I want to be one of the people that provides your family and mine with a good, safe food supply. My animals are a large investment to me and my family. It makes good business sense that they're healthy and well cared for. And it's the right thing to do.
The farm families of Mississippi, feeding Mississippi and the world.
Now it's time for our Mississippi on the Menu segment with our home economist, Nancy Freeman.
U-Pick Farms and local farmers markets are great places to find Mississippi-raised vegetables. All kinds of vegetables and fruits are available at our local markets. You know, we have 43 different varieties that are grown commercially in our state and a host of different things that are served at your local farmers markets. So check them out and make sure what's available where you are. I mean, after all, the freshest is always the best. So we're going to make a simple balsamic roasted vegetable dish. Great side dish to have along for your family meals. Simple, quick to make. We're going to use some red onions, and I've just sliced those in about a ½ inch slice. I'm just going to put them out on our plate. I've got some yellow bell peppers. I've got some beautiful red peppers. You know, I love the colors in these vegetable dishes because a lot of times we get used to the same thing, and this is a different way to use it. How about some green onions in there? And again, lovely things that we find here locally. Just wash your vegetables off with a little bit of running water, and then slice them. Change the angle if you want to. It'll make it nice and pretty and give you a little bit different look in the texture. This is some lovely yellow summer squash. And we've got zucchini, always a flavorful favorite. You know, zucchini is one of those vegetables that will pick up the other flavors that are around it, so it'll be great to have in there. How about some fresh mushrooms? And we've got some little Roma tomatoes. Just quarter them up, lay them on there. And another little tomato, we're going to lay this on there. Very easy, simple to do. Wow, isn't that great? Can't you just see that alongside some fresh fish or chicken? Slice up your eggplants and any other vegetables that you want in there. Put them in the oven. You're going to bake them, and we're going to cover these with a little bit of balsamic vinegar and olive oil. Check us out at our website at growingmississippi.org to find this recipe and other information about locally grown vegetables and fruits.
We invite you to learn more about Mississippi agriculture and its importance to your daily life. Visit growingmississippi.org. That's all the time we have for this edition of Voices of Agriculture. We hope you've enjoyed the show and will be with us again next time. For all of us here at the Mississippi Farm Bureau, thanks for watching.